Hey, here we are, another Friday evening, waiting for my four deputy belt Taekwondo students to get done. But I just realized, and so that's why I wanted to come on here, I realized that I didn't really explain myself very well in the video this morning because, you guys, I didn't come out and say I quit my job. I had to quit my dream job. So for me, the price of not managing my worry, anxiety, and stress was actually quitting my dream job. And so, and that was okay because what I learned from that was that for me, working with all cancer all the time was triggering. And so it's important to recognize your triggers for anxiety. If they're people, it's limiting your time with those people, like if they're particular people. For me, it's working with the cancer stories all the time. I'm in private counseling practice now, and I do have some clients who come to me because they know my cancer history and because they have cancer and they want that. And I'm okay with that because that's like a few here, a few there. It's not 9 to 5, or sometimes with events, because it was my agency had events. Sometimes I was working into like 9 o'clock at night doing support groups, cancer support groups, or cancer education events, and it was so much for me. It became overwhelming. It was like my mind didn't get a break from cancer. And so any cancer survivor will probably tell you, after treatment, it takes a while to actually even get cancer off of the brain because you're just thinking about it all the time. And it's like every doctor's appointment or even every ache and pain, you guys, during the day, you think, could that be a tumor? Could that be cancer? Could that be? And so then working with it every single day, it was just too much for me. And so what did worry, anxiety, and stress cost me? It cost me my dream job. But it was a blessing in disguise because it also taught me that I needed to be aware of those triggers, and it taught me, and it kind of woke me up to, you have to learn to manage your worry, anxiety, and stress, because cancer is always going to be in the world. Cancer is always going to be a part of my experience and my history. So that's not something I'm going to get rid of. And that stress response, that warning signal, we all have it. So to say stress-free makes no sense. To say get rid of my anxiety or anxiety-free makes no sense. It's that you learn to manage that worry, anxiety, and stress, and it doesn't cripple you the way that it had crippled me. And so the good news is I've learned to manage those things, and I don't get to the point where I can't leave my house, and I have not had to quit a job because of anxiety since. And so these are the things that I want to teach you. And another piece of good news is my husband was very supportive. I recognized that I did not highlight that in the in this morning's video either. I just said I was afraid that he would think he had gotten himself into something, overwhelming or whatever. But yeah. Oh, I have a question. What about the idea that anxiety to some extent is actually necessary for us to succeed? I do like that because that, and maybe I would say tension, because it's like that tension, it keeps us going. You know what I mean? It's like that, it's a little bit of a pull. Yeah, I think I'd have to think about that little bit of anxiety to some extent is necessary for us to succeed. Okay, Tim, I want to hear, TJ, I want to hear more from you on that. But anyway, yeah, I think that anxiety sometimes does move us. And I mean that if you think about the stress response, isn't that what it, I mean, it's the stress response activates in order to keep us alive so that we survive, you know, but it becomes overactive because we don't manage it. We don't de-stress at the end of the day. So the stress response is tripped off, that warning sign, that warning signal is tripped off, our cortisol level is high, and then we just let it go. We let it ride. And so we never bring it down. We don't de-stress typically. I'm using the word never, but you know what I'm saying? It's we need to practice that decompressing too. Otherwise, our cortisol level is going to stay high, and there are just a multitude of health issues, not only mental health issues, but like physical health issues that come about and can present themselves because of it. And so no anxiety, you do worse. That is very interesting. I mean, I'm always thinking that, yeah, you will always have that tension. And I guess that's why I'm calling it tension, not anxiety. Because to me, the anxiety, it's like another level. I guess I kind of look at it as levels, almost like when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking of like the heat level of like serrano pepper, like jalapeno pepper, you know, like I'm looking at the heat level, and I think of anxiety as like a higher heat level than maybe that tension that pushes us forward or gets us, it prompts us to action or provokes us to action. So yeah, I would love to talk more, TJ. That would be awesome. But thank you for that reframe of tension. I should write do a little meme maybe of kind of where my head is at with like the tension, the stress, then it goes into anxiety, then it moves into panic, you know. So I gotta play with that a little bit. Maybe I'll send you my thoughts, and since you are the artist, you can draw up, like put the peppers in there and the little scale. Oh yeah, the WAS scale. Absolutely. Worry, anxiety, stress scale. But now you know what? It's got to add tension. So is it the TWAS scale or the SWAT scale? Anyway, now I'm rambling, but if we're going to put tension in there, we've got to think of what that could look like, and come up with a different like acronym. But that's great. Thanks. I'm gonna send some thoughts your way. We'll work together on this one. This will be our collaborative. Okay. So anyway, I just really wanted to share with you that it's okay to know your triggers, and that sometimes there are things you're gonna need to eliminate or at least reduce your exposure to. And for me, that's cancer stories, and that's okay. But I also understand that I can't avoid that. And so I also understand that it's very important to manage SWAT. Stress, worry, anxiety, and tension. And again, tension, we want it to work for us. And that's what TJ and I have been talking to, Timothy Walsh and I have been talking about here in the comments. So if you're listening or watching, check out the comments, because there's been some pretty interesting comments on that. And Jeremy, truth. It's true. I mean, all of this is true. And I have so much to say about this. I'll talk to you more about it later, you guys. I'm just going to have to keep popping on every time I have a thought so that you can hear it. But I've just learned so much over the last 15-20 years about managing anxiety and getting that energy to work for you and that kind of thing. And so I just want to share it with you. But anyway, like I said, I think I'm rambling now just because I could talk about this forever. But I just really appreciate you guys interacting with me. And if you have questions, leave me questions. If you want to join Worry Less with Sarah Falk group. Please check it out on Facebook. Request to join. It is a private group because I just want us to have some important conversations in there, and I don't want it to just be like willy-nilly. And I'll be posting some bonus and extra content in there as well. So thanks again for watching and conversing tonight, and again, I look forward to sharing more with you, and that will come soon. But until then, my friends, as always, peace.